Well, good morning. This is Pastor Marvin Osborn with First Baptist Church of Birmingham, Ohio. And I hope you're well today. We're in 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 1. And he's picking up where he left off, talking about that persecution that comes to believers. And so he begins with a transitional word here, wherefore. So he's picking up where he left off, verse 1, chapter 2. It says, wherefore, laying aside all malice and all guile and hypocrisies and envies and all evil speakings. And so he's talking to the church, talked about the coming persecutions. And you know what it is? We have a tendency, I believe, just being human, that when outside forces come upon us, in this sense here, it's talking about persecutions of believers, persecutions of the church, is you have a choice at that point whether you're going to either come together or you're going to tear apart. Peter's concerned that they're going to tear apart when these persecutions come. So he says, wherefore, laying aside, put all these things off, and he says, all malice. Word malice means doing evil in spite of the good that has been given to you. And so, it's that idea that we begin to attack one another. We begin to bite and devour one another because of what's happening on the outside. That idea of malice. He said this cannot be part of a Christian's life. He goes on and says guile. The word guile means deceit. It means deliberately deceiving or tricking someone. And, you see that with lying, that idea of deceit. See that in 1 Peter 3:10 as well. So he says you're not supposed to, hurt somebody, malice. You're not supposed to lie to somebody or believers. And then he says hypocrisy. Put away all hypocrisies. The word hypocrisy means two-faced. And it's someone who shows one face and really hides their motivation, their true motivations, why they are playing up to you. It's like a politician, right? They're showing one face to you to get your votes, but in truth, they know deep down in their heart, they're not going to vote that way. They're not going to. How many times in my lifetime have I heard a politician get up there and say they're going to get rid of abortion, and they don't, or any number of things, and it's that idea of hypocrisy, no wax. The idea of no wax is that someone who was a potter who made their living maybe creating a vase after it's been kilned, goes in the heat. There's sometimes that there's some cracks that come into it, and what they would do, rather than maybe selling it as in their scratch and dent department, they would take wax and they would just put it in the cracks, and then they could paint it, and the buyer would never know that this was a deformed vase. And eventually the wax comes out and it doesn't hold water. And that is hypocrisy, someone who covers up things and to deceive someone else. The idea of hypocrisy, no wax. We need to get rid of that idea that are masking our true intentions. The next one there is envies. That's that idea of desiring or coveting, wanting what someone else has. We see that in the final commandment of the 10 Commandments, right? And not to covet what is someone else's ox, someone else's wife, someone else's TV set, someone else's car, or someone else's job, or whatever else. He says we need to get rid of this idea that I deserve and I want what other people have. Be thankful for what God has given you, right? So put away malice and intentional trying to hurt someone. Guile, that idea of being deceptive. Hypocrisy, that idea of being two-faced. The fourth one there is envies, desiring what other people have. And then he says evil speakings. Evil speakings, that idea of slandering, destroying somebody's reputation, the idea of spreading gossip or rumors about people. And so Paul says that Peter says we need to get rid of all these things that will divide us. And, with that outside pressure, the persecution of chapter 1, the intent now is how are we as believers supposed to get along? He says we need to get rid of this old worldly way of handling stress. Stress is, where we begin to pick and devour and chew on one another. He says we need to get rid of the idea of malice and guile and hypocrisy, envies and evil speakings, and not have anything to do with that. That's not indicative of a follower of Jesus Christ. And what's the old saying in the Revolutionary War? We either hang together or we're going to hang separately. The British were wanting to take the rebels, that's the colonies, and they were going to hang those they thought were treasonous. And the idea was either we hang together, we stick together, or they're going to pick us off one by one. They'll hang us separately. And so that's true of the church. We need to hang together, or the enemy will pick us off one by one. Amen? Well, this is Pastor Marvin Osborn. We'll pick back up here next time, and I hope you have a great day.